Oh boy, we got some new Viper gameplay. Hey there, I'm Muska and welcome to HitScan. At Play Valorant on Twitter have released the following Viper United States. Welcome to my world, hashtag Valorant, with a little gameplay clip featuring Viper. And there are some things you may have missed in here if you watched it already. I'm gonna break it down. I want us to just start by stopping immediately, as we have a few very interesting things here that we've not really talked about or actually seen much of before. First off, at the bottom of the screen you can see all the UI for the abilities. You can see that the ultimate is ready, and you can see that the ability on the far left, the Snakebite, is also ready with 2 charges. However, the 2 abilities in the middle are the wall, we've already seen on E, and on Q, we've got the sort of big smoke grenade with the big poison cloud. That's going to be used in a second, but you can see that both of them have already been deployed, and they can now be used at Viper's will by pressing the buttons for each of the abilities there, but they share the same fuel gauge in the middle. It's also worth noting that you can actually pick up the thing that emits the poison cloud, but you cannot redeploy the wall. So the wall you can take up and down, but the grenade you can take up and down the poison cloud, but also pick it up and throw it into another spot afterwards. Pretty neat. It also seems like what we thought was maybe just a placeholder asset with the fuel gauge might be permanent. It makes sense to see it so clearly like this though, now that we know that both the abilities rely on this fully. Anyway, to not dwell on too long for that, the abilities are great and all, but I want to talk about this next thing on the image, which is this door or portal or whatever is going on. So we've had 2 maps revealed so far, one being Haven, the map that we've seen a lot of in the previous gameplay, and in these past 2 gameplay videos with Phoenix and now Viper, we have another map called Bind. This map has all these different reactors. They have reactor A and reactor B as the 2 objectives, and you can teleport through the map by going into these portals. Now, we know about this from some of the playtest impressions and articles that have been written, and this seems to be one of those portals. I'd be very surprised if this is not that. Anyway, let's move on. As you can see, Viper activates both the Q and the E ability to bring up the wall and the poison cloud there. You can still shoot through it, as you can see, but Cypher gets headshot right afterwards here because he's just spraying into that blind. And after that kill, Viper feels like it's safe to plant the spike. The spike animation, once again, we've seen it before, but not too much. Interesting to see the plant spot of that and just a marker afterwards, and basically see all of this from Viper's perspective, as in the round footage, we had a similar situation where a post-plant situation meant that Viper brought up the walls and stuff to be able to defend herself from the retake of the defending team. And with the wall and that poison cloud up, we can really get an idea of how much fuel both of them actually take to keep up. In the other footage that we have of Viper, we just have the wall, and we can kind of see just how much fuel they both use up. The poison cloud ability is literally called that, and the signature ability, the wall, is called toxic screen. We also afterwards see Viper's pit, the ultimate, be used, which we also saw in the round gameplay. In my opinion, in the round gameplay, they shouldn't really have featured that ability, honestly, because it's so hard to see around it, as you can see in this gameplay too. There's sort of a fog where you can't see a lot when you're inside the poison cloud, and when you're outside it, you can't even see into it at all. You may also have noticed that from the round gameplay and in here, that all the characters that are inside this actually take damage, but that damage is taken in decay. Decay basically means that if you stay inside it, you take damage, but you cannot be killed by it. So it slowly drains your HP, but it cannot kill you. Viper is the only one that can sort of kill you by shooting you, or another one of their teammates, obviously. This poison cloud will not kill you. On top of that, when you are in Viper's pit, you also do get highlighted to Viper, but only to Viper, it seems, according to Polygon's article with all the abilities. So this is not a recon bolt going off here, this is just Viper's view as well of the character getting highlighted here. There's also a smoke integrity meter that appears on screen, and this appears to have something to do with how long Viper's pit will actually stay up. If you're outside of that thing for too long, I imagine that the smoke will just fade and disappear. Anyway, we don't know the exact details of a lot of these things, as we are yet to play the game ourselves. We were scheduled to play it next week on Tuesday, Ryan and I actually, but that's been changed, but we may have another opportunity to play it online from the comfort of our home, as you may have seen on social media. We'll see exactly what happens with that, but thank you very much for the breakdown there. We have some more information though regarding cosmetics, post-launch content, and just progression in the game itself when it's out fully. Apart from this brand new gameplay, we have got a new IGN article that actually provides some new information which unexpectedly came out just a few hours ago. with the headline, Valorant will launch with 5 unlocked characters and around 5 more to earn. This is not some old recycled information actually, as initially from Game Informer we got a number of about 12 heroes that we should expect on launch, or agents as they're called in Valorant. Now they seem a bit more sure about the specifics, and maybe IGN couldn't even release this information until today, as we've got a quote from the executive producer Anna Donlan, who was in that initial Project A trailer, saying, of the 10 or so agents available at Valorant's launch, 5 will be fully unlocked out of the gate. From there, players can unlock additional characters. She doesn't say exactly how to unlock characters, but we'll get to that in a bit. But the fact that she says of the 10 or so agents, and the Game Informer ones seem to sort of guess at about 12 based on what they had heard, this number of 5 initially unlocked and then some more at the end seems to be all that we've really got 100% confirmed. It'll be interesting to see which 5 ones we see unlocked from the start, as we haven't actually seen all. But based on not having seen too much Brimstone gameplay, no Omen gameplay, and nothing from Cypher in first person at least, if I had to guess, we might be seeing Jett, Phoenix, Viper, Sage, and Sova. Those are just my guesses though. And to unlock whichever characters are the ones that will be locked at the start and potentially added later on as well, players will be doing that through an engagement incentivized model, which all in all basically means that you have to play to unlock stuff as the main way of unlocking them. Riot describes this as players will have the option of earning in-game content through playing and engaging with the game, or they can choose to purchase desired content as a shortcut. Moving on, in the IGN article we also see that essentially translates to players being able to earn characters and battle pass tiers via extended play or unlocking them using real money instead. At a basic level, that's the same as Apex Legends and many other games that feature both unlockable characters and battle passes. Now, there are many levels to battle passes and unlockable characters, and if I think of a game like Rainbow Six Siege, I wouldn't say that I'm 100% happy with how they have done operator unlocks over time. It takes quite a while to grind some characters out and get the required currency to unlock them via just normal play without paying. But in a game like Apex Legends, I feel like I had all the characters after about 60 or 70 hours total played. That's not a whole lot of hours, and probably a bit of AFK time in there too. League of Legends players nowadays tend to kind of praise how Riot approach unlocking characters in League nowadays, as the champions can be unlocked through various missions, and just getting them as you level up. I haven't played a whole lot of League at all, but even the little I played, I remember unlocking quite a few characters just as I go, and even early on you get to choose which one you want to unlock out of 3 or 4 sort of options. So there's definitely a lot to play with here, and a lot of decisions for Riot to make for Valorant. In addition though, Valorant's Battle Pass featured both free and premium tiers, with a promise that there will be no ability to pay for gameplay or power advantages. This is a bit similar to how Apex have worded their things and their approach. And all in all, I'm feeling pretty good about this, just because they put so much emphasis throughout all the interviews and even in this article with a little bit more details on making sure that it's fair and that players respond to it in a good way, giving a lot of good examples about other games as well. But Riot just acknowledging that it's easy to get this wrong, and they know that some games do get it wrong, but that they've improved it over time with something like League, which, like I said, their current player base gives them a lot of props for. So yeah, all in all, excited to see exactly how they do this. But unlocking cosmetics through play and characters through play, expect that. But if you want to unlock anything faster, there will also be some other things in the game, some other features that will let you do exactly that. An in-game shop that will have both a premium and in-game currency, it seems, as of right now. These are details from an IGN staff member as well. Weapon charms, little keychain things off the side of the gun skins, and, well, maybe later on at least, character skins. But for the launch, we won't be seeing agent skins, it seems, as Riot want us to be used to what the Valorant characters look like before we see them with crazy skins on, and that makes a lot of sense in my book. At the end of the day, you see your gun as a player a lot more than you would see your entire character model, so I feel like gun skins is a pretty good way to find a balance there for cosmetics, yet not something that would put its competitive integrity at risk. Regarding other minor details, we also have heard a couple times now that it doesn't seem like a ranked mode in Valorant will be available right as the game launches and will instead be added a couple months or so afterwards. Now, we don't know how long, it could be a few weeks, it could be a few months, it could be at the end of 2020. And whilst right now I know to some people that that's gonna sound a little bit weird, it actually makes a lot of sense to get used to how the game plays first. Overwatch Riot as it launched and the state of the game and how it was played was incredibly different different early on compared to a year afterwards, and even just a few months afterwards, or a few weeks even, when people kind of picked up on how the game worked, how the characters worked, what they looked like, what all of them did, and just how their abilities interacted with each other. So all in all, good stuff. I'm feeling pretty good about the decisions they've made here. And in terms of post-launch content, there's also some details I want to reiterate on. We've mentioned a couple of these in the past, but I wanted to summarize them for this video as well. Like I said, skins might come later on, but in terms of entire new characters, Riot have already said that they feel like a new character release needs to feel appreciable and not to be too far apart from each other, but they won't just add more characters sort of for the sake of adding them. They will see kind of how the community reacts to content being added and when they would need more, which to me indicates that they already know that they have some things in the pipeline that will be useful later on for them and will be prepared to be released when needed, but they won't necessarily stress those things out. And this is something that also applies to maps, where maps might come on a 6 to 12 month basis in a sort of 6 to 12 month cycle. That's coming from level designer Sal or Volcano, as you might know him by, but nothing is set at the moment in terms of map releases. Again, actually a really good thing in my experience, as with both Overwatch and Siege, I feel like there's a lot of maps that people don't really like, don't really want to play, or at least don't really feel like they are used to playing enough to feel super comfortable on them. I can list several Rainbow Six Siege maps that I just never really felt comfortable playing, and then by the time I started feeling a bit better on them, a new one would come out, and that type of cycle just doesn't feel too healthy. Even if you're revamping and reconstructing sort of current maps and just changing them and trying to rebalance them, if you do that too much, then players are never going to really be used to those same maps. And Counter-Strike has some map design that's just been around for absolutely ages, years and years, decades even, in some cases, and that obviously works more than fine. 5 characters available at launch, maybe 5 or more so that you can unlock through playing or by just investing more money or time into that same battle pass. More details on that to come soon-ish, I imagine. I tried to summarize all the info on how you can acquire cosmetics and post-launch content, and now at the end I just want to show a video that we released on Twitter, which is a short breakdown showing off some interesting things and just bits you may have missed from the Phoenix gameplay that was released last week. So this is from our Twitter at HitscanYT, go follow us on there and enjoy this little snippet at the end, just breaking that gameplay down. Thanks for watching, see you guys next time, bye bye.
We just got some new Phoenix gameplay. Here's the breakdown going over 12 different things that you should know. The first ability that we see is Curveball. This is a flashbang ability that you can carry 2 charges of. Each charge costs 100 credits, as you can see from the initial gameplay trailer. You can curve the curveball ability left or right by holding the left or right click buttons. It flashes enemies which will have this white-eyed effect on them when hit by the ability. The next ability is Blaze, a firewall that you can put up and also control the curve of by looking in the direction that you want the wall to go. The fire effect damages enemies when they're in it, but it also heals you when you're stood in your own flames. You can see this UI pop up momentarily to show that. This is similar to Phoenix's signature ability Hot Hands, which is free for him at the start of every round. It acts like a Molotov damaging enemies, but also heals you when you are stood in it. This ability is seen in our exclusive gameplay, which you can see on our YouTube channel. The Phoenix in the gameplay is using the Vandal assault rifle, very similar to the AK-47 in CSGO. It's also the most expensive version of the assault rifles in Valorant. The Vandal has similar spread to the AK-47 in Counter-Strike. You can see Phoenix counteracting the gun spread by aiming a little bit lower as he is firing. The gameplay is on the map Bind. Unlike the other map that we've seen, Haven, Bind has 2 objective points instead of 3. It also has a one-way teleporter to travel between both objectives. Finally, the only ability that we haven't seen yet of Phoenix is his ultimate Run It Back. This is very similar to Revenant's ultimate in Apex Legends, where you mark your current location, and if you die during the ability's duration, you'll be reborn at the marked area with full health. You'll also be reborn when the ability's duration expires, so you don't need to die to make it effective. And that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please retweet it and share it to other Valorant fans across Twitter. Be sure to follow us on here too if you want to see more. Thanks for watching, see you soon.